Welcome to Ministers Talking a weekly program where Rev Briz and Rev Z and their guests chat about current affairs, world events, spiritual principles, and any old they want to talk about. Based on the new thought philosophy and ancient wisdoms, Ministers Talking shares a visionary perspective of the evolving spiral called spiritual living. Join us each week as we explore the emerging paradigm of life on planet Earth and beyond.
And again, dear ones, Dr. Robert with you here.
Rev Z right here.
And this is Ministers Talking Shit. It is the 14th of November. Here we are, the middle of November already. And what a wonderful Friday morning. Still no snow in the Denver area, folks, or snow in the Denver area forecast, which means we're pushing it here. The latest measurable snowfall in Denver is December 10th.
Wow.
So we're getting there. Only another 25 days to go. 3 weeks and we're setting a record for latest snowfall.
Kind of
like Christmas. Yeah, exactly. Oh, beautiful. So, how you doing today, Z?
Doing well. You know, this weather is crazy. I mean, it's in the 70s all week here. It's colder in Florida. I mean, the other month 27 degrees in Florida. So it's worthy of paying attention. I think that's what the weather is telling us, to pay attention. Because it's topsy-turvy everywhere. They got a bunch of snow on the East Coast, and they're saying this weekend, Southern Cal and that whole West Coast is going to be bombarded with rain, and so it looked like we dodged that way, in large part the hurricane season, but now we got the La Nina. I think they say this one is coming through, so it's going to be. We have to be on watch for everything now. The weather, the politics, the paparazzi. We got to be on watch for everything.
There you go. Yep. Rain for LA. That should make the news. That'll definitely make the news. There'll be all kinds of crazy shit if LA gets rain. So, and I don't know if you had a chance if you caught it or not. The Aurora Borealis was visible across most of North America Tuesday evening. Really an amazing experience. I've seen the aurora from Vermont once in my life, and this was just people in Central Texas reporting they were able to see it. Pictures coming out of places like Nebraska that look more like Norway, and a huge red fireball over the Denver area. Most people in Denver saw a very large, what appeared to be a large red, and it wasn't a fireball. This was the aurora, just a huge, massive red blob across this northern sky. Pretty exciting stuff for a lot of stargazers and a lot of star watchers, and just a lot of everyday people are all super excited about the aurora this past week.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about the aurora is that we look at it in wonder, but in actuality, that is a byproduct of the sun producing gamma rays. Remember with the Hulk, he absorbed gamma rays. So because of that, the communications community, if you will, this week were a little worried of communication knockout, because that's what the Aurora Borealis does. It knocks out communication because gamma rays move at tremendous speed and will move through anything as if it's not even there in terms of vibrational wavelengths going through. So I saw it once myself. I saw it. I was way up in Temagami, Canada, like 200 and something miles north of Toronto. We were way up there.
Mm.
And I didn't even know what it's pretty cool, but I don't know what but it's interesting how these again these reminders from the universe.
Yeah. The reminders of the
Pay
universe.
attention.
It's interesting to me that what we experience in the aurora is a indirect relationship to what's happening on the surface of the sun, and what we know is it's always changing. And this is a product of a massive solar storm, as they call it, and that's why we get these, is because the surface of the sun is not staying the same. And that's what's happening here on Earth. Is the surface of the sun is changes what we get to experience, and so climate change is real, folks. Yes, is what I'm getting to. But so yes, good times, and as I like to say, good times and interesting times. This will probably be remembered as the week that the aurora was seen in Texas, and then it'll be somehow remembered in history as the day the dam started to burst in regard to the Epstein files. And what happened on Wednesday with the House Oversight Committee has got the world abuzz. Our president may not want to release the entirety of the Epstein files, but we have a new treasure trove, if you will, of rumors, speculation, and no outright evidence of any wrongdoing in a blast of emails that was released this week by in a House Oversight Committee. It would seem that people are ready to see it would seem, however, though, that people are ready to see what's inside the Epstein files, and even our own state representative Lauren Boebert voted for the petition that is circulating to have all the information released. And yeah, kind of interesting stuff this week. See,
yeah, I mean, again, we say this all the time. We've said it a couple of times this morning. We have to become aware, because just this week, we got the shutdown kind of sorted out, I think, but there's still going to be residual effects of that, and some people are still not going to get back paid, like consultants and stuff like that. So that's going to be a problem. We got the biggest warship that we own sitting off of South America there, and now there's all kind of speculation of, are we going to have land troops? I mean, we got a bunch of military power down in South America. These things, there's so much hard to keep a focus, I think, in a lot of ways, of what's important in this country in terms of our political system of we the people. All of these activities keep, I believe, putting a bigger and bigger wedge between people. I heard the other day, a guy said he walked by somebody's mailbox and the mail had kind of fell out. He said in a normal time, he would have picked the mail up and put it back in the mailbox. He says, but today I'm not doing that, because I don't know, I'm doing a neighborly thing. Somebody's camera seeing that, they're saying I'm taking it, just so much skepticism. And we have to come together. The collective consciousness of this planet, of this country, have to come together and vision something different.
I'm all up for that. Um, excuse me. I'm all up for that. It is time for a new planetary vision. I agree with you there. One of the things you mentioned, the budget bill that has been signed now. One of the things that is in there that I learned, and this is a true bummer. There's a line that is going to basically eradicate the hemp industry in America. So now, and experts are saying this is a 28, 29, $30 billion a year industry, over 300,000 jobs involved at the very least. And it's all because nobody really looked at this thing and actually ignored it. And Rand Paul even in the Senate, Rand Paul even introduced an amendment to strip the line out of that and save the American farmers. And the Senate said, no, that's okay, and kept going. And overnight, because the Senate didn't really do their job, the president didn't really read the law. Obviously, Donald doesn't read these things. And he signed and it's limiting the amount of non-psychoactive THC in gummies and other products. So this is mainly going to hit those that are using very low. This is not recreational use. This is medicinal use for seniors and others with ailments and joint pains and all kinds of stuff. And stock up because the hemp industry is about to hit a major roadblock here unless something is done to rectify this. And it is, and to me, that's the type of thing that represents what you're saying. It's time for a new vision, because perhaps I'm too trusting. Perhaps I have put too much faith in our political system. I don't like to think so, but maybe I have. I always felt somehow we do the right thing. And even in attempting to do the right thing, we're not paying enough attention. Farmers are going to be hurt. Patients are going to be hurt.
No.
So the question that it all brings me to,
administration down the. No, go ahead. What's the question?
Are we paying too much attention to the scandalous, to the dirty laundry?
Question, because I think it's related to what I was going to say. I think that when we look at people being unattentive, I just have to go back to when because when I look at news this week, I look too much. I have a lot going on. I normally flip through all the networks, Fox and CBS and NBC and CNBC and MSNBC and Bloomberg, so that I can get a good cross-section look at all of the different arenas in life. And it appears that the people of power, we talked a little bit about this before we came on, the people with power, whether it's political power, resource power, in power, there seems to be no filters on what they say, what they do. And it's just causing, I think, a lot of people to be very skeptical of everything. I mean, I saw something the other day that said Sasha Obama had married Trump's Barron Trump. I mean, it almost makes me speechless to try to figure out what the heck's going on. That's why we got to pay attention.
Right. That's why we got to pay attention. We've been talking about living in a post-truth world for for a few years now, you and I. And you know, today in our conversations, I've been reminded it's power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that quote's attributed to Lord Acton, British historian. But we're seeing that play out right here, right now, in front of our eyes. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And our president believes he has absolute power, and I think we're seeing the absolute corruption of the man in front of our very eyes as well. It's this really does start to feel like a slow motion train wreck.
Yeah. And you know, we were acting in slow motion as well, right? We see the train about to run into the other train that's coming the other way in slow motion, and we're sitting there cringing. When you think about when these labor numbers, I know that I lost my trend the other time, but when we see they close down the labor department numbers of, you know, how many people are unemployed and all that, all those things, because Trump fired the person. He didn't like the numbers that were coming out.
Right.
You were talking about 300,000 people just in the hemp business. You know, they say they're calling back people who were furloughed, and they're supposed to bring them all back, but I don't trust that. There were millions of federal employees and contractors who got laid off. You know, so in this short period of time, roughly 2 months, 45 days, you could close to 1 million people displaced from their jobs. And if you think each one of those households, let's say on average, is 3 people, that's 3 million people, and most like it might be 4 is the average, I think, for a family of 4. That's 4 million people on this planet, on this continent, that in this country rather, that are going to be affected by this madness. 4 million. At what point do we get this totally fed up and say enough is enough?
Yes, we have to keep. When is enough enough? I believe enough is enough. I believe we've seen enough. I believe we've been hurt enough. I believe there's been enough bombs thrown, and I believe there's enough dirt on the man to get rid of him. I got to stop calling him a man, because after the stuff that came out this week, it's even harder to recognize that's not he. Let's be real. He does not represent healthy masculinity in any shape or form. So tap into the men's conference this week. Check out some healthy masculinity. Have you, Z? I know you're a part of that. We're going to change the subject here, folks. If you have comments, leave them in the comment box. Maybe we'll come back to the political stuff later. But if you weren't aware, both Rev Z and I are participants and presenters in this year's New Thought Men's Community Summit. A whole bunch of really great speakers in there, and yes, there are a couple of women that are speaking to the men. And ladies, you're more than welcome to come check out what the men have to say. And been some really great wisdoms and some really great connection pieces so far in the summit. So if you're interested, folks, and want to get signed up, you can still register. It's totally free. newthoughtmens.community. I guess I need a banner for that. newthoughtmens.community. Check it out. But have you had a chance to check a couple of those so far?
I have not. I plan to do it today. I've been for me at work. This is insurance time. People sign up for insurance, which is a whole nother conversation to have, which is why the whole shutdown. But this is a busy season for me. So I've been working hard trying to make sure that those who need it and want it can get some good insurance to take care of themselves now and in the future in terms of long-term care and those kinds of things. So I haven't, but I plan to this afternoon and this weekend is to try to get caught up. But I agree, you know, when we look at a lot of the issues we have, it's males just going rampant, right?
Yeah.
And again, there's no balance. There's no balance between the masculine and the feminine balance. We know no one side, and when they get too far out of whack on either end of the spectrum or either end of the cycle, it causes havoc, and that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah. What do you guys think out there in internet world? Feel free to comment, share a like, share a subscribe, drop a comment. Let us know what you're thinking. Are the Epstein files really just a cultural diversion? Is it a smokescreen to keep us focused on the salacious and focused on the dirty laundry? I think we got to pull up that old Don Henley song. I think it was Don Henley that wrote "Dirty Laundry." We should pull that up and play. And are we getting caught up? And I'm by we, I mean America in general. Are we getting caught up by the dirty laundry rather than paying attention to the things that perhaps matter a bit more? How do we put food on the table for 400,000 people that are in the process of losing their jobs, thanks to government shutdowns and other things? Is anything that Donald Trump posts worth reading, or is it all just salacious smokescreen to keep us our attention diverted? The one the other day about all air traffic controllers must return to work immediately, yada yada. I mean, it's like he's bully ranting online in public against groups of people that are like, what? He would appear to be unhinged, but
and and it's so I saw a news clip that they were giving out supposedly $10,000 bonuses to TSA workers who stayed on the job, right? And I'm thinking there probably was a lot of people on the job, right? And you're going to give them all $10,000 for showing up? Now, had you not shut it down, that's going to be a lot of $10,000 you got to give out. and it's a showcase. I'm giving you 10,000, but had you just paid me, you wouldn't have to pay this extra money now.
Dude, I'm still waiting for my check from the Doge savings.
If that movie came, the Truman Show, didn't get it.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for my check from the Doge savings. Supposed to get 2,000, 5,000 back at that time. Now we're going to get 2,000 back on the tariff deal. So, right, I'm still waiting on that check. Let me know when those checks are going to come. I would like to actually see, again, right, nothing but hollow promises and childish little rants in that perspective. And it feels like effectively, even whether the government is open or closed, right, whatever they want to call it, we've effectively lost focus on what our government can be or could be, and I'm going to should be doing here. Our government is effectively shut down. by trying to battle with all of this craziness. Okay, so let's listen to Linda.
And
let's listen to Linda real quick for a second. The Epstein files are not a diversion. All right, Linda, I'm with you. We'll continue to press.
Yeah. No, they're not. They're not. And you know, something we were saying earlier, that when you have power, the likes of Epstein and some of the people that are being implicated in this Epstein fiasco, it just shows the callous behavior when you have power.
Right.
I mean, to think that you could do this continually over a long period of time with nobody showing up to say stop or no is a power play. And now, you know, as the saying, chickens are coming home to roost.
Yep. Here's why I want, and I want to be real clear here too. I don't care who's in the Epstein files. I don't care who's implicated. Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew. I haven't seen it yet, but now stories of J.D. Vance. Others, there's a lot of men in there. There's a lot of men that allowed their power to, I'm going to say, complete the corruption. So I want to play a hypothetical with you. Let's say they open the Epstein files and we come to find out that Bill Clinton is in the Epstein files. We come to find out that Bill Clinton was on the island. He was on the plane. Mm-hmm. There's pictures somewhere. Don't need to look at them. Would he have ended up on that plane if he had not risen to the type of power such as president? If he just was the one-term governor from Arkansas, I have to believe
right,
the odds are lower. Now, I'm not trying to give the man any leeway whatsoever, because I think it's that kind of power that completes the corruption. The corruption was there all along. That ability, that desire, that thought, and slowly but surely, it's kind of like, I'm thinking kind of like the frog boiling in the pot. Slowly but surely, you're given power and access, and soon you begin to think, oh, I can get away with anything. Everybody will keep my secrets, when nobody's ever going to keep everybody's secrets. There's always going to be somebody going to let the secret out. But you begin to believe that you are uncorruptible. You are beyond reproach. You are beyond accountability. And so again, the absolute power of presidency completes the corruption. Donald Trump was always, how do you say this? Donald Trump was always preferential to young women, young and girls. And we have plenty of proof of that going back. And now the corruption has become complete, and we have to clean it up. To me, that's the biggest part, is what do we do once we know? Not so much who did what, but once we really know who was injured, and how do we support as a society making those people whole again? Whether it's the young women trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein.
Because once you know, there's no way to unknow.
Right. Yeah.
Can't do it.
And it would appear obvious that Donald J.
And
Trump
that's
would
where
rather we didn't know.
Yes. And so the interesting part's going to be, let's see how much distraction or how many distractions start coming out of the White House now that these files may see the true light of day. And investigative reporters are going to start putting pieces of the puzzle together. They're going to look at an email and the timestamp and where somebody was and who they were with and what, that's what investigative reporting is. It's like putting the puzzle together or solving a mystery to get the pieces of the puzzle together so that they complete story and they can report that perspective. That's what I'm waiting on.
Here we go, folks. I got a feeling the ride's going to get a little rougher before we before we can land this plane. I think the ride's going to get a bit rougher. And I think you're going to see some unexpected, well-known folks and names. We're going to see some names that it's going to be like, oh yeah, of course, like, yeah, saw that coming. Not, I think that I just had a good joke, but I can't remember his name. So, but we're going to learn of some people that wish that they had a ticket to the plane, right? That wish they could have gotten to the island, and we're going to start to learn who were the people trying to chum up to Epstein, but we're also going to learn who were the people that were afraid of Epstein. It would appear he's one of the people that had all the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And now we don't know where all those pictures are, but they're out there.
Right. Because you got to believe if he has a private island, there's security cameras everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Right. So we don't know where the cameras may have been or may not have been, but we know there were cameras probably all over that compound for people coming in, people going out, people, just because that's what you use security cameras for. Right. And
right.
So now I don't know if they got destroyed or, that's going to be the next thing, because when they raided compound, they took a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm sure if there were any, you look at when they raided Sean Combs's property, they came out with computers and, all kinds of disk drives and everything of information. So I'm sure they did the exact same thing when they raided Epstein's island and his New York apartment. So they have more than just emails, I'm sure.
Yeah.
When they coming out? Not because at that point now we got proof positive. There's no speculation. I got you in the picture.
Yeah. You have to imagine that Epstein was keeping those files in a vault somewhere. You do have to imagine that, authorities have become aware of those, and if not have possession of them, have an understanding perhaps of where they are or how to get to them, or have it's going to be the season of the leaks. I think we're going to see a lot of leaked information, and it is going to be tough to know, folks, right? So here's before we forget and leave you all bummed out here this morning. It is important now more than ever to be vigilant, to be aware, to look into things. Don't just take everything you see at face value. Sasha Obama did not marry Baron Trump. They're not having a secret love affair. And if they are, hey, fine. Stay out of it. It's not our business. If that turned out to be true, I'm glad we don't know about it. I'm glad that nobody believes it. Let them hide behind. Let them have, right? be diligent on what we see, check into what we, and look for the sources, look for the verification, look for the proof, look for the receipts, as it were. And we may find that some of what we're being told today turns out to be fabricated information. We may learn that that people were referring to someone else, and our speculation in our in what things mean was wrong. Be willing to accept that. Okay, I was wrong. But let's also stay diligent and vigilant for the truth. And sometimes the truth is not what we want it to be. Sometimes it doesn't look like what we would like it to be. Sometimes it sucks to find out the emperor is wearing no clothes when it's your emperor, when it's your king that is doing the nasty, naughty stuff. And we just have to be willing to be stand up, make your voice heard. I can't believe I'm about to call Lauren Boebert this week and say thank you for standing up for humanity. I can't believe I'm on the same side as Lauren Boebert somehow, or that she's on the same side I've been on for a while.
Yeah, it's time to be vigilant. If I could sum all what you set up in, it's time to be vigilant about people, loving people, community building that supports one another, uncovering things that are detrimental to life at this point, and check the sources, check it twice, get a counterpoint, look at point counterpoint, because neither side is 100% right. There's a place in the middle that gets real close to it. But to really see that, oftentimes I need to look at both perspectives, or definitely more than one perspective. There's more than two perspectives, really. But I need to look at them to understand the totality of a thing so that I can make intelligent decisions.
Yeah.
And we decisions now more than any other time. So that's why we come here. We come here, and some people may say they ranting and raving, and maybe it may be that on occasion when we get so filled with the various perspectives of things and trying to elucidate them so that people can really say, let me take a second look at that. But if not now, when? If not us, who? I mean, there has to be a point where there's enough people saying that the emperor has no clothes. And I think, that time is now.
Yeah. The emperor has no clothes and the king likes little girls. It's a time to, because here's the thing, we live in a representative government. And those that we have elected to represent the people's voice and the people's desires and the people's, what the people want, are not doing their job. They've been on vacation for the last month and a half, 2 months. They're not doing their job. And they're going to come back to work for a week to say, hey, isn't it great? We're back to work, but we're not going to do a damn thing because it's almost the holidays and we got to get ready for the end of the year. And I've been in this position. I know what it's like to be in sales. Come on, how quick can we get to the end of the year? I want to get to that 2-week holiday and that Christmas bonus. And that's all they're, and so if they're not going to do their job, we have to. And they're not going to let me in, and they're not going to let me into the House chamber to vote. So the only recourse we have as individuals, as people, is to stand up and do the best we possibly can to have our voice be heard. And if I don't think you're listening, I'm going to keep saying it, and I'm going to find different ways to say it. And I might get pissed off and shout out you occasionally, and I might try to take a little more sugary type approach. Aren't you having a great day? Now let's do what I need to do. But if the elected officials aren't going to do their job, the people have to. Peacefully, but we have to let it be heard. This is what we desire, and somebody better start representing the voice of the people.
Yeah. Or you won't be in that position.
Yep. Folks, we're going to get out of here for today.
Very simple.
Very simple, exactly. Start listening to the people, or you're not going to hold up your job. Let's trust that still works. All right. We're going to get out of here for today, folks. We want to wish you a fabulous Friday. We have a great lineup as we do every day. All of our normal programming, all of our specialty programming throughout the day. Friday's always a big show day here on New Thought Media Network. So tune back in, check out the playlists on YouTube, hit up the website, ntmedia.org, register for the men's conference, get involved, do what feels right, but stay involved. Keep building the environment of New Thought. Keep building a consciousness of New Thought, and all of this is going to be okay. That's something I learned recently. The most important thing you can do, the most important thing you can say to somebody that's been involved in a traumatic incident, so whether it's a health incident or a car accident or an accident of some sort, the best thing you can possibly do if you're in a position is to tell that person, it's okay. The worst is over. You're going to be okay. That's it. Not where does it hurt? Are you okay? Just tell people the worst is over. You're going to be okay. It may not look it, folks, but the worst is over and we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for being with us. Till next time, we wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.
And thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ministers Talking. We'll be back again next week with more commentary on current affairs, world events, and any other our ministers want to talk about. And if you found value here, please share our with your friends. Until next time, peace and blessings.